first national security meeting with them. And he's in the Oval Office, and he knows, the president knows, his number one responsibility is to keep Americans safe. Okay, so he's in the office, and they say to him, Mr. President, we have a serious problem. And he goes, what is it? He goes, we know, President Obama knows, that there are elements of ISIS and Al-Qaeda sneaking through the refugees from 6 Middle Eastern states, and we know they are entering the country even now. And we also know, and President Obama has designated these 6 Middle Eastern states of areas or states of critical concern, because we know that's where they're coming. So the president said, you're saying they're coming in here now? He says, yes, they are. Mr. President, you have to do something. So what's he do? He does what a normal, rational, public official leader does. He issues a decree, his first executive order. Now we all know what executive orders are because Obama issued 100 of them trying to prop up Obamacare. So we know what they are. So he issued one, temporary, right, a temporary travel ban on these 6 Middle Eastern states. Maura Healey was one of the first attorney generals to run into the federal district court to try to block the Trump administration. Now I want you to listen to her legal theory so that you know she is a left-wing loon. She said that the President of the United States is interfering and violating the civil rights of the foreign nationals of those 6 foreign states because they have a right to be here and he's blocking their right. Is that nutty? Is that nutty? Listen, we know that ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they're not coming in here to mix it up with us. They're coming here to kill us. And they love it. They receive with glee the death of Americans. And if there's a natural explosion out in the Middle East, out in Kansas somewhere, they take credit for it. The nuttiness shows no bounds. She actually said they have rights to be here. You don't have to be a lawyer to know they don't. She would actually place our public safety concerns, she would just cast them aside due to Trump derangement syndrome. She would put our public safety aside. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this to you. I understand and know that the number one priority of any attorney general of any state is the public safety of its inhabitants. When I hear of intelligence information, just like we did in 2013 from the Russian Federation, no friends of ours, that there are people amongst you that mean harm, and they identify those people, we're going to go after them. We're not going to wait till that disaster occurs, and we got deaths on our hands, and we got blood in the streets, because some idiots in high office rather take a political correctness stand than keep us safe. I will keep you safe. I promise you that. You have been so patient, and the reason why I'm going a little bit at length, but I'm going to end it now. The reason why I'm going at such length is I want to let you know there are some depth. There's some depth in this campaign. We got some depth of issues. We have some real plans. I got a 3-pronged plan approach to the opiate crisis. I'll just mention it right off the bat. It's the opiate crisis is effective and successful rehabilitation. Number 2 is drying up the source of heroin and fentanyl, because 80% of our people are dying from heroin and fentanyl. And the third one is extreme prosecution. I just want to touch just one part on extreme prosecution. We have a problem in Massachusetts. We're sending the wrong message. I will send the message to law enforcement. We got your back. Seriously, we got your back. We had too many police officers being shot in Massachusetts just in the past year, or 5 in New England. How nutty is this? We're going to put an end to it. I'm telling you what, these loony judges are cutting these guys loose and putting them back on the streets. This is a brain problem. It's left-wing lunacy at its worst, and it's on steroids with Maura Healey. We're going to end all that. I'm going to take absolute steps, and if anybody want to ask me how, I'll be glad to give you the nuts and bolts, because I've got a lot of plans that I'm going to implement. So, before I end, I'm just going to take a few questions. If anybody's got any questions, love to answer some questions. Yes, sir. The guy with the Trump shirt on.
You just mentioned the Maura Healey lawsuits, and it seems like every time I open the newspaper, she's suing some other federal agency or Exxon. Right, Exxon's a big one. And so, how do we unwind that?
Okay, the beauty of all, yeah, we're going to throw, listen, some people in my campaign did some literature, and they used the term, they said, we're going to retire Maura Healey. And I said, wait a minute. My people don't want to retire her. We want to fire her. We want to throw her bodily out of office. And what we're going to do? We're going to throw her out. We are going to fire her.
Yes.
We're going to send a message, but lock her up. Somebody said lock her up. Lock her up, right? Lock her up. Okay, so let me address that issue. Thank you for raising him, because I mean, you can see we can go on all night here. All right, so she's got about 40 lawsuits. It averages one every 2 weeks. They are as nutty as the first, and they get worse. They have no logic to them. Listen, folks, I'm going to tell you something. As a lawyer, I have been involved in those big lawsuits. You got 20, 25 lawyers going in by the state. You got 20, 25 lawyers going in from the feds. They get in there, and the federal judge is the debate master, and they discuss statutes and what the meaning of the word is. It's nutty. It goes nowhere. Those cases go nowhere. Nobody wins those cases, but there is a loser. It's the taxpayer of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, because you're paying for both sides. You're paying from your state taxes and your federal taxes. It's nutty. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to end them. I'm going to get in there and say, bring me the file. I'm going to write on there, Commonwealth hereby dismisses this case, period. I'm going to end the nuttiness. I'm going to take that money, if I need to, and put it in effective rehabilitation. But we're going to end it. We're going to do something real for our people and stop this nonsense. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Jay, how are you this evening?
I am doing good, and I'm fired up.
Jay, make Massachusetts great again, aren't we?
Yeah. I actually got a hat. That says make Massachusetts, vote for McMahon AG, make Massachusetts great again. I should have worn it.
Jay, my question is, I myself am in recovery.
Okay.
And I made a couple mistakes when I was younger.
Yes.
And I was denied an LTC, statutory disqualification for a misdemeanor.
Yes.
Misdemeanor, not a felony,
I know.
misdemeanor. Would you consider easing that up a little bit, maybe a time frame? I'm lifetime disqualified.
Let me say this. First of all, I honestly cannot make the connection between a misdemeanor 5 years ago and someone today. I honestly can't do it. I'm going to tell you something. They say if you got a drunk driving charge. Can I tell you something? I'm not trying to be crass here, but my way of thinking, unless the drunk driving was because somebody was loading their gun while they're driving and drinking at the same time, I don't see the connection. I see it as liberals trying to infringe on our constitutional right to keep and bear arms. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to work with average citizens. I'm going to change all that. If I can't strike the law down, I'm going to work hard against it. I'll go to court and say, this is an issue of where they're depriving a right on something stupid. My personal feeling is, if you are not committing crimes with a gun, and maybe you got into a tough with somebody because it was an imperfect self-defense, that is not a disqualifier. And I'm telling you, when a government official decides who gets the right to exercise a constitutional right and who doesn't, I go on the side of the Constitution. And I'm telling you right now, I'll work with you when I get elected. People like you, I will work with you. You're right. I've seen it too much, and I absolutely hate it. It violates my sense of justice. Yes, Heidi.
What about having to choose between marijuana and a gun license.
Okay, well that's interesting, because we really don't have that situation right now. It's coming up, and we're gonna have to examine that. I'll tell you why. I've seen a lot of studies, both sides of the question, I really have. And it may be that it's gonna have to be taken care of by some kind of a commission. And let me just be clear. There's, the whole problem with exercising the Second Amendment is having rational thought. Now, if you drink, not that there's booze in here, but I'm just using an example. If you drink booze, you still have the ability to determine whether you're going to drive a car or not. If you're under the influence, you know. However, there are other substances that you could be under the influence of that won't allow you to have a rational thought. And if there is a substance that you can't, that you take, that won't allow you to have a rational thought, we have to think about not only you taking, having a dangerous instrumentality such as a vehicle. We have to look at that. And I would say it has to be looked at. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, I'm saying we have to look at it. Everything, like everything in life, it falls on the facts. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Hey, I have this LTC in my wallet, and it cost me $180 with the safety course.
And it was well spent.
But why should I have to pay that if it's a constitutional right?
Okay? You want something done about that? Do you seriously want something done about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's
There's 100 other
Pinto? Pinto, do you want something done about that?
Absolutely, the Constitution should be your permit.
Does my campaign manager, you want something done about that?
Yes.
You want constitutional carry in Massachusetts? Do you really want it? Then you're gonna have to work hard and start electing state representatives and throw these idiots out of office. Seriously. See, are you kidding me? That stump stock band went through faster than their own pay raise. It was so nutty. Can I tell you something? 425,000 letters got sent out to everybody. I got my letter. Says it wants me to turn in my bump stock. I sent it back. I says, how do you know I got one? And if you do, where did I buy it? When did I buy it? I didn't put it through the Massachusetts gun portal, so they don't know who has it. It's an accessory. I happened to be on Boston Herald Radio the day they had the vote, and Joe Banfeld said to me, he says, well, clearly you're against the bump stock. I said, Joe, have you ever fired a bump stock, or fired a gun with a bump stock? He goes, no. I said, do you even know what they look like? He goes, no. I says, Joe, I've shot with a bump stock. I happen to have, and I mentioned the particular firearm that I do have, and I said, I don't have a scope, I got a Seizall on it. And he did, because he didn't know what that was. And so I explained it to him. I says, I can actually shoot scattered targets, somebody calling out the numbers, quicker than with a bump stock, because the bump stock's not accurate. He goes, well, why do they have it? I said, well, I guess it's a novelty. But I'll tell you right now, what these people are doing, they know nothing. They're proving how ignorant they are, and I'm disappointed that it passed, at least without a veto. So, but it did. I'm going to change those things. The reason why I'm against it, when they come close to the Second Amendment, when they even come close, I'm going to be there. You will see me there. Because it's a, listen, I got skin in the game. I know how precious the right is. And I'm protecting it for me, my family, and all of you. I will be there. If this is the kind of government you want, if this is who you want this kind of person as your next Attorney General, I need your help. You're going to invest in this kind of government, and I'm going to have my campaign manager, Dean, come up in just a moment, and he's going to tell you what you can do. But I will tell you this, we are rolling red. We are rolling red in Massachusetts. We can do this. Trump got more votes in 2016. in the primary than Charlie Baker got in 2014 when he won against one opponent. The votes are there, we gotta shake them up. And if you want this government, I need you, and let me end with this, and then I'm gonna bring Dean up. When you elect me as your next Attorney General, I promise you and guarantee you this: your public safety, all of your civil rights, and your guns are safe with me. Thank you very much. Thank you for me.